Welcome everybody for another exciting episode of Who's That Anime?
Starring Golden Boy.
Golden Boy. Good old Golden
Can
Boy.
Oh, good old Kentaro Oe. Look at him and his bike.
Oh yeah? Well, look at him previously on his bike. Oh, he's on the bike in the front as well.
Yeah. Yeah. He's there.
Is
So last week we watched episodes 1 and 2.
did
I,
some
I didn't like it. Oh, I didn't like episode 2. It was nasty.
yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
no,
I did not appreciate that.
episode 3 and 4 of the OAVs of 6 episodes of Golden Boy.
Yes.
6 episodes.
So and episode 3's title is Danger! Exclamation point. The Virgin's First Love.
Yes.
That's quite a name.
That is quite a name.
So you alright there?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
You're just smiling in a way that makes me worry.
That's just the Virgin's First Love, man. That's
Right. I don't even know where to start. Okay, so he's a noodle boy.
yeah. He's
He becomes
in
a noodle boy.
in a noodle shop. Yep.
I will like spoiler alert. This episode contains my favorite scene out of all of this so far.
All right. Okay. I'm intrigued.
Well, it's a strong scene. So yeah, essentially, for those of you who are maybe listening for this for the first time, is that our lead character and protagonist, Kentaro Oe, is essentially sort of like a professional pervert and person who just kind of cycles about and gets jobs. That's his whole thing.
Yeah, they got a reader or something they're called over in Japan.
Yeah, the wandering student, as he
Yeah.
is.
Apparently,
He loves research.
were looked down upon by other Japanese people.
Well, if they were like him, I kind of get it.
Yeah, but he's like loved by everyone at the end of each episode.
And there's the indifference that I have for this. Is it's sort of normalizing this weird adverse sexual behavior that he has in a way that I don't think is okay. We'll maybe get to that. So
Yeah.
he's a noodle boy, and he's learning to make the noodles in a noodle shop because I think the owner broke his arm or something like that.
He got run down by a car.
That's it.
Got knocked over.
So he's on the mend, and basically Kentaro is now going to be the guy making all the noodles in this restaurant to help it keep up, because it's just him and his wife and his, as the title suggests, virgin daughter.
She might be a virgin.
I don't know. It says that in the title. I just assume.
You just got to assume.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Kentaro. Maybe it's Kentaro that's the virgin.
I mean, probably. But also, he does strike me as the kind of person. Oh, no, he hasn't been to the red light district. We've established this.
Yeah, he never got
in
there.
episode 2, where he was bummed out that he never got to go to the red light district because he'd never been. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe potentially, maybe that's an area of study he needs to evaluate further. But yeah, he's now the noodle master and making noodles that people don't really like that much. I don't think. That one guy seems kind of bummed out.
Well, he was a bit upset that it was a bit pasty and slagged him off, but was like, haha, only joking, you can do better. Now that the doctor kind of walked in and was like, oh, show me your skills type thing.
Yeah, and then
you get told,
of course, oh, go on.
You get told not to get carried away. Like, hey, don't get carried away. Sorry.
as a weird aside, like I watched the Jackie Chan film, Mr. Nice Guy, the other
Oh
day,
God.
the
I don't
first
think
time in years, and it has the scene in it where he makes the noodles.
in the van.
No, no, in front of the crowd, and oh, like on the TV, maybe.
All right. Because I don't know. I think I half watched it when I was younger.
That is the way it is best watched is half watched. There's a lot
Yeah.
of really gnarly Australian acting in it that's not great. And not great is me being fairly generous.
Were they all from Power
It's
Rangers?
not. I don't know if they were good enough for Power Rangers.
Oh, not
Yeah,
good.
they were not. Yeah, Home and Away is a league above, I think, from
Home
some
and
of the
Away was
acting.
what about Neighbours?
I think Neighbours is a league above Home and Away, so that should say something.
Jesus, man. Oh, Cell
Never
Block
really watched
H.
either, so
Cell Block
I
H.
mean we will not besmirch the good name of Cell Block H.
Wait, what?
I don't know. There's a show about a women's prison from the 80s, right?
Yeah, in Australia or New Zealand or
Okay.
somewhere in the
I
south.
I vaguely remember that because I remember my parents talking about it and then thinking they were talking about something called Cell Blockage,
So,
and I had no idea what they were talking about.
you think we're
So
talking about Dragon Ball Z or something, and it's like another stage of Cell's reincarnation.
yeah, it's his Cell Blockage, whatever that is. You know, before blogging was a thing. Yeah, it was weird, and I probably should have just learned to listen more. Um, yeah, so you got he's now taking over the task of Noodle Man. He's learning all about the noodles. He is fawning over the daughter, as he tends to do.
She's of age, I think. She's not school age in that one.
Yes, it becomes mildly better in that I think it may be what you could classify as a legally consensual relationship.
Yeah. Mildly
Which
better.
it's certainly a lot better than the second episode where there is a clear issue with that.
Yes.
But
Yes, there
then
is.
it I think it kind of turns and I watched this one when I was really tired, so forgive me, but I kind of get the way that this worked is that she had a kind of thing for another guy who she thought was just a businessman type.
No, no. So the guy got run over, right? The owner
Yeah,
got
yeah.
run over, and he sort this out. He
We'll
decides,
get there.
yeah. So basically, this guy helped the old man out with like his injuries or something. He's like, "Oh, I'll help
Yeah.
you," type thing, and set
Yes.
them up. So their family's in debt for helping the old man, and he's also
Oh,
like,
your audio's gone real bad.
"My audio's gone real
Oh,
bad." Aw,
yeah.
that's me mucking around with settings.
Every time you talk, it went.
All right,
That's better now.
it's just settling out. Okay, let's go. It's fine.
So yeah,
So yeah,
he helped. He offered to help the guy after he got run over.
yeah, and then
Yes.
so he visits, and they're like, "Oh, thank you for this. Here, the noodles are in the house," type thing, because you helped me so much. And it's like, "No, I need to pay," and have a whole thing,
Ah.
and they all kind of bend over and bow, and they, "No, it's okay." And also he has like this weird fucking leg movement when he comes down and sits down. He like sits down and crosses his leg by lifting his like left leg up over his head and round and down. That's, what is he, a gymnast?
It's sort of like a slightly more fancy version of Riker trying to sit down in Star Trek.
Less fun. Well, yeah. He doesn't need to step over a chair. He just sits
No,
down
no, it's
and
because
lifts his leg.
All Riker was doing was stepping over the chair. There's no gymnastics involved, really.
He was just tall. I mean,
Yeah.
so this businessman has the hots for the daughter.
Yes.
And yeah, and she kind of has like taken back because he's been so nice to his father.
Yes,
And
that's what it is.
they go on dates.
But of course, there's more. There's more to it. Of course.
Oh yeah.
That will soon become clear. I think is it at that point where sort of we see sort of a scene of him being sort of not as nice and happy, and is he with that other woman, or have I skipped ahead too far?
Well, no. So I think he's invited her out to see his ship, even though I don't think that's actually a ship.
Yes.
And he has a tour of the ship and says things to her and like, "Will you marry me?" type thing. I think is proposed at that point.
That's right. He proposes to her, and she goes, "I'm not sure."
Yeah, because well, she's pretty young still. Anyway,
Yeah,
and he's probably
he in his head is like, okay, I guess, like, that's fine, whatever."
Yeah, and he's been the nicest person. But then later on, Taro goes to the baths and comes back and then sees the guy hanging around with some other lady and talking
Yes.
some shit about something to this other guy. Because he's
Yes.
part Yakuza?
Yes, that's right. Because, of course, the Yakuza are the source of many problems in Japan and anime in general, it would seem.
Well, organized crime syndicates can cause many problems in society.
Oh, absolutely. It's just that he seems to find them all.
Well, that's been 3 episodes so far.
Yeah, two. Good point, actually. Yeah, there has been an appearance by the Yakuza in every episode thus far.
Yes.
So, wow. Bravo, Golden Boy.
You
shining a spotlight on a serious issue.
Well, on a plus note in this episode, there's no toilet scene.
That's right. There's not.
Where he's creating the toilet and
there's no toilet worship.
No toilet worship in this one either. Breaking all the trends. Breaking all the trends.
Wow. Okay, yeah, no toilet worshipping. That's definitely weird. Because that should totally be a thing. Apparently, that's a thing that should happen.
Totally a thing.
Okay. So yeah, he is that when it starts to like come clear about like what his motives are for trying to marry this young girl.
Yeah, so he's talking to the boss and he's talking to the lady, and Katara goes, "Hey, that's that dude that he's been all nice. What's the with him?" So he stalks him as they go to a car park.
As you do.
And starts making out with the lady in the car, who seems to be his lover, his real lover.
And then there's the super awkward scene where he's like there in the car and he's not in the car, and she's of course like, oh, it's just super gross but so funny, because it's I think like because she's like getting all like super jealous because he's hanging out with this young girl, and they're kind of about to start something, and then it becomes clear that he's like just there outside the car.
Oh yeah, but that's because he was been kneeling down writing his notebook, and he's like, and they were telling the plan and going, yeah, so it'll be a long time. So first, try and get rid of the old man, but then he's going to marry the daughter, and then get control of the shop, and then divorce the daughter, and then get the shop or somehow. That's his, that's
he just wants control of the building, basically. I think is the crux of it.
Yeah.
But the best part, of course, is when he's like he finds him, outside the car, and he's like, "Have you just been standing here this whole time?" And he goes, "No, I was sitting."
Yes. Yeah, I was sitting.
Oh. That actually made me laugh because it's just like he's such a pervert, and it really bothers me. But it's such a funny line for some reason to me that it makes a difference that he was sitting outside the car, drawing them and taking notes.
Yeah, he always stood up because when he snapped his pencil in rage, that he called the daughter plain and simple or something along those lines.
That's right.
He's like, "What do you mean?" And then he goes, "Aren't you being a bit cruel to the family? You know?" And it's like, "Oh, I show you how you're cruel," and then he starts beating up Kentaro. And then
Yes.
the next scene is in the shot where he's making the noodles, and the daughter goes, "Oh, what happened to you?" And he goes, I cut myself shaving with a big black eye and plasters all over his
He's
face."
like basically crippled.
Yeah,
He does give him quite a kicking, I must admit. Like it was a fairly severe beating and head stomping he received.
yeah.
So yeah.
And then at the end of the episode, you find out the true powers. Anyway, um, so the next thing, I think just after that is like to find out that she's off on a date with the elder gentleman.
Yeah, he's gone to he's taken her to the horse racing.
Yeah. So, but this just before that is like, oh, Kintaro asks, "Well, oh, where are you off to?" type thing, and she goes, "Oh, nowhere." Then the mother goes, "Oh,
Yeah,
you're off
that's
on a
right.
date," and he's like, "A date?" And
Yeah.
then somehow he sneaks out the shop. And we
Yeah.
go,
Gets that really serious look on his
yeah,
face.
yeah. Um,
Um but this is my favorite scene.
I wasn't too sure it was this one or the one at the end.
No, this is properly incredible as a scene. So they're on their date, sitting in this very fancy booth, watching the horse racing,
Hmm.
and he sort of brings up, he's like, "Ah, have you thought any more about, the marriage thing?" And she's like, I don't know, maybe, kind of. And then he decides to sort of make his move, starts kissing her. But then there's like this weird sort of mascot looking thing in the corner, and it turns out that it's Kentaro in a costume. He's been there the whole time because, as we know, he's really good at just watching things he shouldn't watch. Um, and then the guy is like, he unbuttons her shirt,
Yeah,
and Kentaro then sort of materializes. Oh, like they're on the edge of a couch, and he is on the other side of that couch, putting
yeah.
his hand over and rebuttoning the shirt up.
He makes it run to that side of the couch.
It's yeah, without like he's in the corner, he's in the far corner of the room, and then makes it to the other side of that couch with no noise, like total ninja. And yeah, so the guy like tries to sort of plunge his hand down the shirt and gets caught up in the buttons. He's like, "Hang on a minute," and he's like, we'll just go downstairs." And he like unzips her trousers, then the trouser zip goes back up. But at that point, the worst possible thing happens, and of course by worst I mean the best possible thing happens, is that the sort of Mr. Yakuza suitor grabs Kentaro's hand, thinking that it's hers, and is like, "My God, her hands are huge." Uh, he starts sort of like feeling around the hands, and then it gets super awkward as he starts to sort of lick in between the fingers, and of course it's like, wow, she must be really fired up. She sounds like a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just kind of amazing, and the whole time,
You
the
left the
whole
best bit
time.
out. You left the best bit out.
Oh, well, yes, I'm getting to that.
All right,
I'm
okay.
getting to that. Like the whole time, you think that that's how it's going to end, and that he's going to get caught, and it's just going to be really obvious and shameful. But then they just plants a kiss straight on Kintaro, and like properly propeller tongues his mouth, and it's just really awkward. And he just takes it. He just takes the kiss, moves on, and then the scene sort of ends.
Yep.
And he's not discovered.
No,
The
that's because
guy
he's
just
unconscious.
assume, yeah. But how did he not get caught? How is it possible? There were two other people there.
He's got the.
Neither of them. Neither of them noticed him.
He's got the.
Neither of them thought it was weird.
Well,
It's just.
the accusing
It's
guy thought it
amazing.
was. Thought it was weird because he didn't. He was thought the daughter had like mental capacity or something.
Yeah.
Surviving his sexual onslaught.
It's so I suppose the thing that's sort of like nice about it, and the thing that sort of is very unbecoming, well, not unbecoming of Kintaro's character, because he's supposed to be sort of likable in a way, is that it's like that's sort of sweet in a way, where he's like genuinely trying to stop what's happening there from happening.
Yeah.
It's kind of Big Brother-ish.
Yeah, he's been the honourable gentleman and such.
Yeah, and it's not super pervy for once, because I don't know that he's really he likes her, but he's not all that into her in the same way that he's been into the others.
The others. Yes.
Yes. He's yeah, so it's sort of it's a really funny scene, but also weirdly nice for some reason. Because those scenes don't happen very often in this show. And that was my favorite part.
Fair enough.
It was utterly ridiculous and wonderful.
I mean, the whole anime is pretty utterly ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, you are not wrong.
It's classified as a erotic comedy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you look up on Wikipedia.
I mean,
they call it an erotic comedy.
Probably should have looked at that before we started watching this. Then I might have been more informed.
I tried to.
As we said the first time, yeah, I mean, you did warn me. As I did mention that the only reason I wanted to do this was after seeing what the dubbing for that swimming episode was like, which we're about to talk about, and it's pretty glorious.
That's a good scene.
That dub is amazing.
Yeah, the rest of the rest of that episode is not so good. Anyway,
yeah, going on.
Going on. So after that, he's somehow reached back to the store before the girl, the daughter did, I think, because she comes in and like starts wailing on her problems onto him, and he's just like, I can't really do anything. I'm a bit incapacitated here, and that's all from that the whole.
That's right. He looks like Casper the Friendly Ghost. He's just like lying there all white, going like,
yeah, he whited himself. But
so
not that way. Yeah.
No.
And then he tried to do the brother thing and try to warn her of his fancies and his predicaments. And then she goes away upset, basically going, "Oh, you don't understand," type thing. Blah blah.
She didn't like that.
No, she got a bit upset with it. But
yeah,
and then goes on a search for the man in his boat and then to the stadium for some reason.
Yep.
The only two places that the guy goes to.
It's like he lives in neither of them, but I guess I could go to them because we've been there. So he probably is in one of those, right?
Yeah. Like what?
He's not an NPC. Like, he doesn't just exist in those two areas. He's supposed to be a person.
Yeah.
I'm sure he lives somewhere.
Yeah. By that time, Guitar also recovered. And had somehow met up with the guy on the bridge to the stadium.
And it's sort of there's a bit of a standoff where he is the guy, Mr. Yakuza Suter is sort of saying what his plans are and how he doesn't really like the girl and how she's kind of like it's not for him sort of thing. And you know, what is it he said? There's a specific thing. He calls her something like a gross whore or something like that, or some weird thing like that.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, what naturally happens in sitcoms and just about everything else is that she's actually just right there the whole time listening to the entire conversation. Because, of course, the other place that she would look is the abandoned overpass that Kentaro seemed to find him on randomly.
Oh,
those are the three locations.
That was the bridge between the stadium.
Yeah, you're right. I suppose there's maybe some logic to that, but I don't want to give it too much credit.
No, there's no logic to it. They only had like budget for 5 scenes or something.
Five scenes. Yes,
Five
the
background
horse
scenes.
racing, the boat, the stadium, the road,
The baths.
yeah, the toilet.
Yeah. Oh
No,
no,
there's no toilet budget in this one. Yeah, that's right. They
No
broke the budget, so there's no toilet scene in this one.
Yeah, no toilet scene in this one. Yeah. So basically, he says that she gave up her virginity to him or something like that. Even though that was like whole,
Yes.
that was like Kitaro getting like, I mean, Kitaro was like, what?
Yep. And then, of course, when she hears that, Kentaro trying to placate her and sort of like make her like, he's like, oh, she likes him. I should try not to make sure try and make sure her feelings aren't hurt. He then latches on to the the girl that the guy's with, and it's like, oh, he's talking about you, right?
Yeah. And then
He's like, he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, no, that's not what's happening. It's not what's happening at all.
Yeah. It's like, I don't believe you. You're all liars. And then runs away, and then the other guy tries to beat him up.
Yep. That's right.
Where Kitaro perfectly counters and gives him a good right hook in the face.
So much so that his teeth fall out.
Yeah, and he
in that properly decks him. It's pretty good.
Yeah, he bounces a couple of times. And then
yeah, guy deserved it.
And then Kitaro's upset that he wasted his karate training or something on the
Oh yeah, he's like, how dare he waste it on such a frivolous reason.
Yeah,
it's like, no, the guy deserved it. This is totally fine. This is yet another time where you've done something kind of nice in this episode. So yeah,
it's like the nicest episode you have.
I'm not gonna lie. This is the episode I felt the best about that character, and he's still a Grosso.
He didn't power out too much in that one.
Not too much. It's mostly just the car scene. Mostly the car scene.
Well,
but
it was spying on them. You didn't need
I mean,
sit right outside the car though.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably call that dogging to a degree. To be honest, it wasn't. It wasn't the best.
I think Doggin's actually watching it, but
he was watching it. I mean, he was drawing it.
Yeah,
he was. Yeah, he's.
So you,
yeah,
he's the mirror to see into the car.
I mean, maybe I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, like
no way to see in the car. He was kneeling next to the car. It's not that tall.
No, that's true. He's not, and he's like sitting right there. I don't know. You're right. That's a good point. So, of course, she's run away. He's totally leathered this guy and left him kind of broken. And then we find, I think that we go back. That's the scene. We go back to the restaurant, and Papa's arm's healed. He's back to cooking the noodles.
Yeah.
Which now the customers jokingly don't like.
The same guy.
Which I thought was quite funny. Yeah, same guy's like, you should let the new guy do this.
Yeah, don't want your pasty noodles.
Yeah, bring the other guys back, which again is sort of like this another moment of almost endearment to this character that is, yeah, I kind of hate. And then, but of course, I think this point where it's his intention to leave the restaurant and move on to find another job.
Yeah, you kind of made that clear in another scene. So, oh, won't you stay forever type thing so you can look after my parents while I get married?
Oh yeah.
And he's like,
that's right.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It's like, so when I get married, it's like, you'll stay here though, right? And it's like, no, probably not.
No, I'm going to leave.
I have too much studying to do. Too much studying to do, and too much weirdness to be in other places.
Yes.
So then he goes to say his goodbyes to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she, because of course this is like the day after or something like that, after the whole thing on the bridge.
Yeah.
And she's not downstairs in the restaurant because she's not feeling well, quote unquote.
Yeah. I think it's like a couple of days after the bridge incident, but yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but
So
then,
he goes up to say his goodbyes, basically.
yeah. And then she does some flower arrangements, which we never really touched on, that she does this stuff. And he has no
Oh
clue about
yeah.
flowers. And she wanted to do this flower arrangement bouquet to the person that she loves. And did it for
Yep.
Taro, who then just lightly jokes it off.
It,
Probably his worst moment in the episode.
I don't know. The couple of ways you could take that is one where he's being a total douche about it, which I could totally believe, and the other way, which I think is just he has no idea. So
Oh, he has
he's got no idea at all. I don't know. He seemed too jovial about it. There was no awkwardness. He would be far more awkward, I think, if he was trying to fob it off.
Well, I don't know. I think I think he was. He realized what it was because it's says, "Oh, yeah, so you're going to give this to like the person that you love the most," and she never mentioned it was for him. But it was
That's
obviously
true,
for
and
him.
he says we. Well, she says he says you better find that person then, or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, along those
And
lines.
then of
Oh,
course
yeah,
as he cycles away at the end, it sort of zooms in on the card that's been written for him
yeah,
on the flower arrangement that's now left on her desk. Yeah, I can see how that's actually not great for him.
yeah. Well, it's fine. He obviously wasn't into that way. You know, has some
Yep.
light thoughts because he has that with pretty much every female character. Except the mom. Well, no, he didn't. Never seen him permanent over the mom.
No, that's a valid point, and that's maybe the first time that that's been a thing.
Or the old lady in the second episode who he helps out because she needs to take the off because of her son or something.
That's right. Okay.
And
Not
maybe
not into that.
or maybe the fierce mother of the child either. Yeah, yeah, he's really creepy. Really creepy
And
guy.
then that's the end, as he sort of cycles into the sunset again to find yet another job.
Yes, because he's
Um,
studying the way of life.
yes, he is studying the way of life.
He's learning lots.
Okay, he's you. I would not disagree with that. Whether I would say he's learning the right or good things, I don't know.
Well, I suppose he is learning the right things, and he's not
Feel
fully molesting the girls.
it's the fact we have to sort of sort of make that explicit of how badly he's doing that is probably not a good thing in its own right.
Well, we're coming on to the fourth episode. Anyway,
Yeah, we'll get to that. So how what did you think of that one? I've got your scores from the previous episodes if you'd like me to give you those to sort of help you.
judge it.
Yeah. So
It was good. He was more honorable person in this one than he was in any other ones. He didn't
yep.
actively try to attack the girls.
Yep. There was like a level of character development in this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're coming on to the fourth episode. Anyway, and
So what would you rate it then?
I'm going to go with a six. 6 turkeys.
Okay. So your trend so far has been episode 1 was a 7.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 2 was a 4.
Yeah.
And now we're back up with a 6.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a better episode in character development, but wasn't one of the more interesting episodes.
Yes. I would I'm going to put it down as a 5.
Yeah.
So that's I put a 5 for the first episode because it made me laugh and it was interesting, but he's a terrible person in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose this one is more sort of good character focus, but a bit dull.
Yeah, it was a duller episode.
And the middle episode was a 2 because what the fuck?
Yeah, and episode 2 was 2.
Yeah, it was
questionable. I think, yeah, very questionable.
Not very questionable.
Yeah. So, Episode 4.
Swimming in the Sea of Love.
Oh,
Oh, where to start with this one?
Well, to start with this one. Where
okay, go.
He's essentially in this episode. The first scene in this episode is he's cycling along, and he looks into this room. It's middle of winter, or very cold. I'm going to assume it's winter. And he comes along to the cycle and goes, "Oh, look at all these people swimming in this weather." And it's like an indoor swimming pool, so it's going to be like what 30 degrees something in there because
it's going to be warmer than outside.
Yeah, and he goes like, "Wow, look at these people swimming in this weather," type thing. Oh, I'm gone.
Did you change your audio settings again?
No, not that time.
Oh no.
Oh, but broken.
It just kind of keeps going every now and then.
I'll try not to shake my chair so much.
Okay. Huh. Keep talking.
All right. Yeah. So anyway, and then he bumps into his next conquest, shall I say?
Yeah, he sees a woman he likes and is like, "Oh, I'm going to follow that."
Yeah,
that's a person I want to follow.
Yeah, she's just in a black leather trench coat, I think is meant to be.
Yeah, he's
like,
you know, the whole time making comments about the potential curvatures of her body, etc., etc.
Yeah, in Africa, somehow she's from the wild safari of Africa.
That's right. She's the wild woman.
Yeah.
You can see it in her eyes.
Yeah. And then he follows her into the swimming pool. And then immediately she turns around and is like, "Yes, can I help you?" And he's so having stops right next to a job advert, and he goes, "Yes, I'm looking for a job."
I want a job, please.
Yeah.
Give job.
Yeah, can I get a job, please? That's why I came in here. It wasn't because I was following you in here at all. No.
Absolutely not.
No.
And of course, that job is like a swimming instructor. I think is the sort of the job he's trying to pick up, right?
Yeah, that's certainly goes out for a trial out. That's for sure. Yes.
There is one fatal flaw in that.
Yes.
And that is that he cannot swim.
He very much cannot swim. But he still tries to swim the 25 meters. Because I assume it's an Olympic length pool.
Yes, I mean, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to see if I can drop this audio in here. You can tell me how this sounds on your side.
Oh.
Hang on.
Uh-huh.
Getting there.
Uh-huh.
Any minute.
Yeah. I hear what splashing.
Ah!
And this is the scene that is basically the reason I wanted to do this show.
Yes.
This is the best bit.
So, how do you like my swimming?
This trial. It gets a serious face right there. Well, it goes like proper serious face. So it's like, "How do you like my swimming?"
Oh, it's so good. It is so good, and it's so embarrassing. And can we talk about how small the men's swimming costumes are?
Well, it just got the...
There's so little material.
Just trunks that they're wearing.
I don't even... Like, the thing with trunks, right, and like... I'm going to try and describe this, and I don't think I'm going to be successful, but they looked more basic... They basically looked more like jock straps. Because it was like a bit to cover their bits, and then a bit of tape. that went round their waist. That was essentially what their swimming trunks were.
That's what swimming trunks were.
No, it doesn't seem right.
That's,
Yeah, I put it this way.
swimming trunks is
I've
just
I've never
my
I've never
trunks.
had swimming trunks like that. I have never had swimming trunks that looked like that.
You always been in swim shorts.
I've had swimming trunks that were supposed to be shaped like that, but not as short as that, and not as lacking in material.
Well, that's just giving them gender equality in the lack of material.
I mean,
I mean,
I'm down for that. Like,
girls actually had a lot more. They were in the full
Yep.
Swimsuit rather than
yeah,
bikini,
they were
so,
their swimming costumes were relatively modest,
yeah.
by standard.
Yeah.
So of course he's just embarrassed himself, as you can hear by that great audio that we've just played, because he can't swim at all and wants to have a job swimming.
Can I interject with an interesting fact that's partially
Yes,
lie?
please do.
That's why I sound like when I swim.
There's a particular point in that that audio, I think, that is funnier than any other part, and it's the it's where he decides to just dive back down.
Yeah, it's like he's swimming along, and then he starts to go under and drowns, and then he
Yep.
also pops back up and goes, "Arr!" And like he stands up full body, and then like plumps back down like a whale breaching and then falling back down.
It's properly incredible.
a good
It's
scene.
properly incredible.
It's-
And of
it's-
course, he, rather than just admitting the fact that he can't swim and not taking the job, gets really indignant about the fact that she tells him he can't have the job because he can't swim, because swimming is a prerequisite to the job where he'll teach swimming.
yeah, yes, he can't.
He gets
he can't-
really angry.
I wouldn't say angry. He just was like, "Shit, I'm going to lose this," and then challenges her to a swimming contest in a month. I'll beat you at
does,
swimming, he
yeah.
says. And she was like, "What?"
And then, yeah,
It's actually
and then,
It's actually
Sorry, go on.
it's a reasonably realistic reaction from her when he comes out with that. And people like going, "What?"
yeah, I mean, it's the best part about it is it's very understated, because it is literally like, what are you smoking? Like, it's like, you've nearly drowned trying to swim one length of a swimming pool, and here I am, the owner of a teaching school for swimming, and you're challenging me to a race. It's
Yes.
very awkward. And of course she accepts, because, why wouldn't she? She's clearly going to beat him.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, yes. Why wouldn't she? Except from the only reason that he follows her, got the job because he followed her into there and needed a.
that is very true.
Because he does make a comment when he goes like, something like, "I didn't really want to get a job here. I just wanted to keep the girl or something."
He does start talking about his wild African princess and how he wants to tame her, so on and so forth.
Yes.
It's a unique way of thinking and talking, as Kentaro can do.
Oh, he also.
And of course, oh, sorry, go on.
He also. So they were like, "Well, how's my swimming?" And they all go, "Oh, I think you should actually be in the beginner's class." It's like, "No," and then he crawls out of the pool and goes, "Please, I'm begging you, begging you." And he's like, "No, wait, this is Unforgiven." And it's like, "I want to speak to the owner," and that's how he gets into the challenge.
Of course, I forgot about that. Yeah.
What else? There was something else in that scene.
It may be the fact that, and I may be conflating with this with a later scene, but is it the fact that after he challenges her, he has a throbbing erection for no reason,
No, he has
or is that later on?
he has a strong reaction during the challenge. When it pans
Right.
out, and you see his throbbing erection as he's making some random comments to her, and she's obviously not looked down to still
Yep.
accept the challenge. And then it zooms right into his crotch.
That's right. Yep, it does. He even
Yes.
references that. And for some reason, the other girl who's like, "Oh, do you not know she's like a super famous swimmer?"
Yeah.
Doesn't notice this either.
Yeah, no one notices it.
So
Or no one
he
makes
just
comment.
gets away with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no-
nobody cares enough. I mean, which is interesting in a swimming pool full of children. I'd have thought that might not have been okay, but whatever.
I don't think they had children at that point. I think that was like
Did they not?
I think it was just him doing a trial out.
I mean, granted, if he'd had to provide references, the number of people from the Yakuza and people who are like, this guy's a sex pest, they may have thought twice about putting him in front of small kids.
Yeah, you say that. Anyway, that's for next week. We'll talk about it next week.
Oh no. Okay, fine. Go on. Let's continue on episode 4.
Yeah. Yeah. So he goes in and starts teaching the kids because he's been put in the C base. I think they call the Lord's group C base, B base, A base. 11 and 12 or something like that.
That's is that a reference to episode 1?
Maybe I think it's more a reference to like actual like it's sea level.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also comments that that's a joke. I believe.
Boo. Oh well.
Which is good because last time someone mentioned Seabase, he got a bit aggressive.
He did get very sexually aggressive for no good reason with a bunch of women. So
Yeah. So he's like teaching the kids how to like put their face in the water.
is that the scene where he's like, yeah, they don't like it because this kid throws up, and the girl's like, no, you see, what you do is you're like, you should put your face underwater, and then you put your finger on the back of the child's head and just hold their head underwater.
Yeah.
And
no.
I was watching that like, oh, the kid's totally calm. This must work. And then the kid starts to freak out, and I'm like, take your finger off the back of the kid's head, maybe before you drown them.
No, it's fine.
No.
Yeah. So he's that's a later scene, but like he's like playing with the kids and stuff like that, and the leader is watching him and comes out and berates them for being too soft on the kids, and they're failing in this class.
Not enough success.
Yes, not enough success, she says. Obviously never looked at the paperwork. Anyway, well, that's for later in the episode.
That's spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, so yeah, and then it's that, and then he's getting lessons after work by the other instructors to improve his swimming game. That's pretty much it until he's swimming around and doing a swimming lesson. He's getting pretty good, and the leader comes along and goes, "Oh, you're getting pretty good there. Let's see if you can catch up with me." And so he jumps over him, and then he gets like super excited.
This scene is just.
This is the worst. It's the worst.
It's real bad.
It's
real bad.
This is the worst scene in the show. No, I don't know.
And yet, I don't know why. I don't like this scene, and yet for some reason, I'm far more forgiving of this than episode 2, which I have no tolerance for.
Don't even touch the girl in episode 2.
I know. So she is swimming in the pool in front of him,
thinking,
and he is. Yeah, he's swimming behind her, and he's not really catching up. But then, of course, he starts to look between her legs, and he's like, "Oh, I want to catch up." And then she changes swimming stroke from front crawl to breaststroke, which leaves her more vulnerable in that area.
Yeah.
And of course, which excites him even more and makes him swim even faster.
Yeah.
And then it gets really awkward.
Yeah, he literally lands right between the legs.
Yep, he accidentally gives her oral sex briefly, to which she's very surprised, but doesn't seem that fussed about that, and is more annoyed that he caught up.
Well, he started to The worst part of it is like he runs in there and they all kind of like stand up and he pulls his face out there out of the area and then he
Yep,
sucks up the water or something. And
he
goes,
does, and it's
"Ah!" And then he
it
gets a
is.
serious face for a split second, just so she didn't catch him.
Mhm.
And it's like,
Yep, it's terrible.
"Ah!" And then
See,
it gets worse. It gets worse.
okay, so I've tried to remove this from memory apparently because that's as bad as I remember it getting. But please do continue.
So they get out of the pool, and she's pretty much like going, "Yeah, you're pretty good," type thing, and letting them off on this whole
Oh.
and saying, and he gets out, and then she just looks behind him as he's getting at the pool, and he's got a throbbing erection that's
right.
popped out of his trunks.
That's right.
And then
That's right. Yeah, his.
And then she was like, "What were you thinking in that pool? In the sacred pool? What were you thinking in
The
our
sacred
muscle?"
pool.
Yeah, and their muscles enlarging, and their arms actually gives them a good solid punch to the face. I assume.
Yeah.
You don't actually see the
And
violence against them.
No.
You just know that he's been knocked out and he's lying in the cold, cold air, half naked, with his pants on his head.
Yeah. She does go full Super Saiyan.
Yes.
And waylay him.
Yes, he's like, "Oh, I got fired."
Yep. Yes, you did, because
Yes.
you got knocked the fuck out. And did some very inappropriate things in the sacred pool.
Very, yeah. Anyway, at least that wasn't
Yeah.
during. That was like after work time, so there's no kids about.
I mean, that is only marginally better, but yes.
I'm just saying, there's no kids about or anyone else.
There were no children. You're right.
Yeah. So then he goes away, gets fired, cycle away. That's not the end of the episode. Goes back to her, saying, "Oh, figures have improved this year from getting people up through it." And then they talk about how Guitaro introduced these new games of getting kids to get their heads in the water and do it by dropping rings underwater, and it helps people out and stuff like that. And then one of the parents comes in with the kids, goes, "Oh, I'd like to thank you, Miss Manager, for getting my daughter to like water. She's no longer scared of water now." And
The kid who's clearly terrified of her, clearly petrified of her, is like, isn't the other teacher who's not a sociopath here?
Yeah, the Kintaro, yeah. Is he about?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're the woman who condones semi-drowning children to hopefully get them to be better at swimming.
Oh, you know.
Where's the one that made it fun?
Yeah. So she was like, oh, she's also happy about that. It reminds her of her time in the pool with her dad.
Yes, that's the bit that I like, is that it's like, oh, I never imagined that making swimming fun might make children learn faster. It's like, you're right. It's your regime of terror where you were sort of like drill sergeanting them into being better at swimming clearly was giving results, but also creating like really like repressed and sad children.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot about a scene in the episode where Guitaro watches her giving lessons to like the older kids, the ones that are training, and he imagines her as a dominatrix, whipping them as their dolphins.
That is, yeah, and he enjoys that also.
Yes, he does enjoy that, but we clearly knew that from the first episode.
We did, and there's also children there, which makes that more awkward.
Yeah, not children. They were like teens children, which isn't
as we've discussed. It's still not great. still not good.
That's why to make a definition, it was older children.
Nope. Yeah, you're right. Drawing a line in the sand. It is slightly less inappropriate.
And in his visions, there were dolphins.
That is true. They were dolphins, and she was whipping them through wearing a leather strapped thing with basically just her breasts hanging out.
Yes.
Was how that worked.
Oh yeah, the full-on breasts hanging out in that one, yeah.
That is, yeah, it's different. I'd say by different, I mean not really that different, because I'm pretty sure he imagined something almost similar in the first episode. So
Yeah. So at the end of the episode, she's kind of forgiven him. It seems.
yes,
'Cause-
even though he doesn't know that.
And he essentially won the challenge somehow. Because he also,
Even though he never beat her in a race.
yeah, she would have hired him because he managed to make swim fun for children. Yeah,
I hate this episode. I hate it. I hate this episode.
this episode's terrible. I don't like it.
It's
Or I don't want to see a guy's boner. I don't want to see a guy's naked dick. I don't want to see essentially sucking
well,
on sucking on the
Yeah.
lower parts. No,
it's it's not great. It's not good.
no.
What do you rate it? Bear in mind, your lowest score so far is a 4.
Yeah. I think I might give it a 2 this time. 2 turkeys.
Oh.
That's the worst episode.
So, agree to disagree.
Yeah, yeah.
In a cruel twist of fate, this is the first episode I think I'm going to rate higher than you.
No doubt.
It's a 3. It's not much
Oh.
better than what you've scored it,
No.
but I cannot, in good conscience, put it in the same level as episode 2. Episode 2 is so bad. It's so terrible.
Yeah, it's
And
it's
so
bad.
gross. So gross.
Oh no, I think this one's gross.
Oh man.
Cause
Oh, no, I mean,
actual things happen, and I don't think
That is true. That is true.
what happens in the second.
Yeah. It doesn't.
It's
There's
not
plenty
very
of mention of it though.
Oh yeah.
So, good lord.
Well, there's only 2 more
That's-
episodes.
That was rough though, because on average, like at the very least, like you were averaging a 5.5 for the first 2 episodes, and I was averaging a 3.5. For the second 2 episodes, you averaged a 4, and I averaged a 4. So we seem to have sort of hit a bit of an equilibrium to a degree here. Overall average so far is nearly 5 for you, and is 3.5 for me.
So on the 5. Oh jeez. Even with that too.
Yep, you're still averaging. Yeah, because you gave the first episode a 7.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first episode.
There you go.
It was funny.
You only
Very
have
good.
yourself to blame for your high average.
I know. It's so wrong. But funny.
It's not great. So, thank God, yeah, we only have one more week of Golden Boy. And I know we talked about moving on to doing Charge Man Ken, but I don't think we're going to do that because there's way too many episodes to do that, and I think we don't even know if it's going to be interesting yet. So we'd rather take our chances on a shorter series, which is why Colin's already started watching Ghost Stories, which I think we're going to do. So what is this? This is the 4th, the 11th. By the 18th, so like mid-March, we'll start on our first episode of Ghost Stories. And
18th.
maybe we'll try and average that out to maybe more episodes in an episode of this so that we can get through that in less weeks.
Less weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, rather than, 2 episodes a week. I think there's just so much to talk about with Golden Boy because, wow. It's, yeah. I feel like maybe we can either make the episodes go a little longer or just, take the bits that matter.
Oh,
And go forward with that.
yeah. Next week's going to be good. Next
It is.
week's-
I've yet to subject myself to next week's pleasure, so
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
Yep. Well, guess you'll find out. I already watched them.
Yeah, you just couldn't wait.
I couldn't. I thought I got time. I'll watch them, and then go. Oh, okay.
Oh God.
Fifth,
Okay.
fifth episode's a doozy.
Okay, I'm prepared. I'm prepared. So I guess in which case we will leave it there for this week then, and we'll be back next week with episodes 5 and 6 for Golden Boy Part 3.
Yeah.
We have now set this up. Not only is this a Twitch show, which we should probably export to somewhere
Yeah.
at some point.
Might stick it on the channel. You can do it. Find us
Okay.
on YouTube Couchfield channel. I did
Yeah.
download
So
it.
we've got those episodes. We've got the episodes archived on video and an audio. We do like an individual recording as well, and then I mix it, and we now have a podcast
Yeah.
that's on. You can find us on Anchor, Pocket Casts, and Spotify, I think, at the moment.
Wow.
Pending permission on Apple. That's the big one.
Yeah.
Still haven't heard anything on that front yet, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Uh,
We will see.
we'll see you in that. And if you enjoy watching people playing games terribly or alright, depending your take on how terrible you can play a game. I'll be playing Minoria on Monday. Until I complete it. That's a game. It's a fourth in the series of the Monobrew? I can't even see it. Series where it's about things.
So, and where can people watch you do that?
Well, I do it on this stream here. This right here. On
And for those who will be listening to this,
it's Couchfuel on Twitch. Or
twitch.tv/couchfuel.
Yeah, that'll be the
Or-
URL.
Yeah, or Couchfuel on YouTube as well, right?
Yep. Once I upload the videos. It's
Cool.
there. Got lots of videos there for other games that we played. Some good ones like Sorry James.
I enjoyed that. I still enjoyed that.
It was alright. It was disappointing in the fact that the Steam version also had a lot of extras in it.
Yeah, we played it on Switch.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, and I think some of our Halloween stuff is great. Like Until Dawn and Resident Evil 7, I think are particularly interesting.
Yes. Yeah, the Resident Evil 7 stuff. That was certainly a good one.
It was
You sat-
unique.
Yeah, your Until Dawn playthrough, you sat out half of it because he died.
That's the same way I do. It's the same with our Man of Medan episode as well, because I died right at the start because I'm bad at those games.
Yeah, it's like, haha, I'm going to escape on this boat. No, you're not.
Yep.
Shot in the face.
Same every time. And just to like prove, like even when I try to play those kind of games on my own, when I played Little Hope, I broke my game so badly. My save is completely 100% broken and can't progress. So
Oh man.
yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
Good times.
I know-
Cool. Well, we can end it there then, I think,
Yeah.
and we'll be back next week.
Yeah, this has been Who's That Anime? And it's Kintaro, Ori, and Golden Boy.
Golden Boy, it's a classic.
Yeah.
Not really.
It gets referred to that in the 6th episode.
The Golden Boy. They'd say the name of the show.
Yeah.
They say the name of the show. Oh, thank God! I was hoping they were going to do that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Teasers
For next week when we discuss that moment.
One last thing about episode 4.
Okay.
Did not include the toilet scene either. That was what I was trying to say.
I mean, to be fair,
They
they
didn't have any.
they didn't need to. They went above that.
They went all in. They went all in.
They did.
They
They went
didn't have
all
any.
in.
They didn't have any janitorial positions because that's what he begged when he didn't get the job.
Very true. Very
Um,
true.
That's what I was going to mention then, but I couldn't remember until now.
We're at 50% toilet ratio for the episodes so far.
Yep.
Don't ruin it for episodes 5 and 6. We need to
Keep
see this naturally. Keep the mystery alive. Hang on.
Life is a mystery.
Yes, and with that, no. This has been Couch Fuel. This has been Who's That Anime. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, there we go.
I love that. I love that intro.
The intro's the best thing
Right.
about the show.
I am going to stop.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
I hear the sound of a woman screaming! What's going on, ma'am?
Who unplugged my file server?
Yes!
Oh, thank you so much for turning it off for me!
Me! It was